Go.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم انفعني بما علمتني وعلمتني ما ينفعني وزدني علما آمين يا رب العالمين. I'm Varda and today I'll be presenting Ayah 74 to Ayah 82. In the previous Ayah, Abir explained how about Bani Israel's incident about when they ordered them to slaughter a cow with the name of Allah, but they kept questioning and they kept answering questions about how the cow should be, the color of the cow, the breed of the cow, and Allah did not specify that at the starting, but since they kept asking questions, so Allah made it difficult for them, and in the end, uh, he also made this cow that they slaughtered in the name of Allah, and then we also read that that from that piece that cow's fat, they put it on the dead man and they found out the killer. So now we will continue with Ayah 74. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Then after that, your hearts were hardened and became as stones, or even worse in hardness. And indeed, there are stones out of which rivers gush forth, and indeed, there are of them stones which split asunder, so that water flows from them. And indeed, there are of them stones which fall down for the fear of Allah, and Allah is not unaware of what you do. So now Allah is talking about the hearts of different types of hearts, and he's symbolizing them with stones. He says, he starts the ayah as the hearts were hardened, which became as stones. Now in this ayah, this is a very technical ayah, so I need all of your attention. There are three types of stones mentioned in this. The first stone is the one that explodes and the water gushes out like rivers. The second type of stone is that one that cracks open and that water comes out. And the third is that rocks collapse and fall from the fear of Allah. Now, these three hearts, stones, we can see them as hearts or personalities. I'll be just starting off by describing the first one, the one that explodes and waterfalls comes out. The example of this is taken as Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziallahu Ta'ala. So when Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam preached to Abu Bakr Siddiq, he was ready to, like, there was kindness and that iman was inside him, and it was just ready to hit him at the spot. And then as soon as Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam preached, he became a Muslim, he became ready to accept Islam. Like the iman was inside him, it was just ready to hit that spot. The second type of stone is, they're talking about, it cracks open. Like it takes time, but when it opens, there's still water inside. Now I'll give you an example by Umar Raziallahu Ta'ala. So we know that before accepting Islam, he was a very harsh personality and he was very violent. He didn't want to, it's not that he didn't know about Islam, he just didn't want to learn about it, or he was not, his heart was like very hard, and he was very, he was very violent kind of personality, but there was still kindness and that iman was inside him. And as soon as he, how Umar accepted Islam, when he heard that his sister and his brother-in-law are also Muslims, so he hit his sister out of anger. And when he hit his sister, his soft spot came out of in his heart, and then his heart became soft. And when he heard the verse,
I would like to ask something. What I heard was that when he heard that his sister was a Muslim and so was his brother-in-law, he went to their house and they were reciting Quran at that time. And I think, and was it the recitation that touched his heart, or like he realized it after?
So that's both of the things. There are both of the elements, also the verses of the Quran, and also that he hit his sister, his own sister. And when he hit his own sister, of course, you see he unlocked this iman inside, this heart this water which Allah is symbolizing in the ayahs, the stone, his heart is a stone and there was water inside. It took some time, that hitting and that recitation of the ayahs, it cracked open that stone and the water came out. Also, he hit his sister also because of the recitation of the Quranic verses. So you see, there was like, it took some time, but it happened eventually. And then the third type of people that are mentioned here, the rocks that are mentioned here, are the rocks that collapse and that fall from the fear of Allah. Now, in this kind of rock, there is no mention of water. These are the kind of rocks when there is a landslide, these rocks, there is no water, but it's still a rock, it's still a heart, it's still a personality. So let's say mostly reverts always, they research about Islam and they figure out what they do and then they accept Islam. But sometimes they're not sure of what, there is, the iman is there, but it's not that strong, or it takes time to develop. But there is still fear of Allah. They're still obeying Allah's commands. They're still obeying Allah's commands. So they're still classified as Muslims. They're still doing everything in the fear of Allah. But the iman, like you see, the water is not there, but they're still classified as Muslims because they're still obeying Allah's commands. So these kind of people are also on the same category. These are just different kinds of personalities Allah symbolized with stones. And what then is he saying? Now after these stones, he's saying, and Allah is not unaware of what you do. Bani Israel, they thought that Allah is like, they used to even cheat Allah. They used to like we discussed the example of fishing earlier, that when they were not allowed to trade on Saturday, they still put a net in the water to catch fish, and they thought that Allah wouldn't know. Allah knows everything. Allah knows what's in our hearts more than us. So we cannot deceive Allah. And Allah then says that he is well aware of what he does. Does anyone want to add anything in this? All right, is everything clear? I'll move to the next ayah now. Ayah 75. Do you faithful believers covet that they will believe in your religion, in spite of the fact that a party of them, Jewish rabbis, used to hear the word of Allah, the Torah, then they used to change it knowingly after they understood. Now, Allah Ta'ala is saying here that he's addressing Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that do you think he will, the Jewish people, because even the Sahaba and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they were very sure that they were happy that when they migrated to Medina, that people will listen to, they will convert to Islam, listen to the message of Allah, but they didn't. They were hypocrites. So they're talking about those people that Allah Ta'ala is saying that, when Musa alayhi salam was on, when he was called on the mountain, he brought some of selected people with them, and Allah addressed Musa alayhi salam directly. They saw Allah talking to Musa alayhi salam. They saw it with their own eyes, but they didn't believe them. After some time passed, they forgot what they saw. They forgot Allah's miracles. So Allah is saying that, do you think they will believe you? In fact, like, what more miracles do you need when Allah is standing directly next to, and they saw that when their own eyes? And we read in the previous miracles also about the cow. We can never imagine a yellow cow, and the ones that's mentioned in the Quran, or like talking to Allah directly. These are all miracles. In spite of these miracles, they still did not want to believe them. So Allah is saying that, how can you imagine them accepting Islam, accepting your religion, believing in your religion, when they saw everything, yet they still did not believe it. Does anyone want to add anything in this?
Yeah, that I just wanted to say that it correlates with them changing the Torah. Although they knew what was right, they changed it according to their, likes, like what they wanted. So it just shows that their iman wasn't, like, true. It wasn't firm from the start. They didn't want to
Yes.
obey from the start. They were just enjoying his favors and that's all.
Yes, exactly. That's very right. So they knew what will happen, but they kept doing what they wanted to. They kept changing the word of Allah. They kept changing it according to what they like. Next ayah, ayah 76. And when they Jews meet those who believe Muslims, they say, we believe. But when they meet one another in private, they say, shall you Jews tell them Muslims what Allah has revealed to you about Jews, about the description and the qualities of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that were written in the Torah, that the Muslims may argue with you, Jews, before your Lord. Have you Jews then no understanding? So Allah Ta'ala is saying that the Jews, they would, when they would meet Muslims, they would say that, oh, we're Muslims, we're with you, we believe in Allah. And then when they meet each other in private, they would say that we're not stupid, that we're gonna believe in Allah and we're gonna be with the Muslims. Why would we do that? Why would we uh, leave Torah? So this is a clear um, characteristics of the hypocrites. We knew that the Jews of Medina, they would do this with the Muslims very often. They would, so they had double personalities. The Jews, they would, when they wanted to be friends with everyone. So Allah Ta'ala, what they said in private was that we know the qualities of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that are written in the Torah. So they knew those. Then, so Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Torah very descriptively about the arrival of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the things that would happen before, during, and everything was written and described very clearly. Yet they still argued with the Muslims. And then Allah Ta'ala is saying that, don't you have any understanding that I've written everything so clearly in your book, I've explained everything, yet you still don't want to believe in Allah's message and be with the Muslims? Does anyone want to add in this?
No.
All right. Next ayah, ayah 77. Know they Jews, not that Allah knows what they conceal and what they reveal. Now Allah is saying that, does Bani Israel, do the Jews not know what they conceal and what they reveal? So they're showing the Muslims that we believe, and we believe in the message of Allah, but in reality we saw what they're doing. So Allah is saying that, do you think I don't know what you conceal and what you reveal? When there is an inventor of something, let's say someone who created the telephone, would he not know how it works? Would he not know how it functions? Of course he does. That's how Allah created us. He knows what's in our hearts. He knows it better than our mothers. You can see our mothers, whenever we're in distress or something, they figure it out so easily. And Allah, He loves us. He knows us more than 70 mothers. He loves us like 70 mothers. So how will He not know what we conceal and what we reveal? He knows everything inside our hearts. Does anyone want to add in this?
No, this one was pretty clear. Self-explanatory.
Yeah. Next ayah, ayah 78. And there are among them Jews, unlettered people, who do not know the book, but they trust upon false desires and they but guess. So now in this ayah, they're saying that there are unlettered people. They don't know the book. So the other people who they used to come to the people, the Jews used to come, and they knew there were some people who, okay, so the Jewish rabbis, they knew the Torah, and they used to change it according to their wants and needs. Whatever was according to them, when they used to write the Torah to sell it, they used to change it according to what they need. So if Allah is saying that don't lie, they will change it to lie. I'm just giving an example. This is not authentic. I'm just giving an example that whatever they wanted to alter according to what it was suitable for them, they used to do that. And they used to trust upon false desires and but they guess. So they used to false desires, they used to do these fulfill these desires, and they used to just, it would be like, it's for the world, it's okay. They did not think of the hereafter, whereas Allah Ta'ala revealed everything in their books, but they did not follow it rightly, and they used to alter it. Does anyone want to add to this?
No, you can go on.
All right. Next ayah, ayah 79. Then woe to those who write the book with their own hands, and then they say, "This is from Allah," to purchase it with a little price. Woe to them for what their hands have written, and woe to them for what they earn nearby. As I mentioned earlier, when the Jews used to write the Torah, not just the Jews, here the book is written, so it can be any book before the Quran. Quran, Allah Ta'ala, we know that He swore that it will be protected. Their words and verses will be protected till the day of judgment. But the books before Quran, they're talking about those when they used to write it with their own hand, they used to change it, and they used to change the wordings, they used to change the laws. Now this law, so kitab in Arabic don't doesn't only mean book, it also means law. So, and then they used to change it, and then they used to say this is from Allah. When they used to sell it to people, they used to sell it for a little price. So people who, they used to come and say that, oh, we want this part to be changed because it's hard for us to um, implement this, and for this little price, this little money, for this little life in this world, they used to change the commandments of Allah. And then Allah is saying that there is destruction for them, as they have written with their hands, and they earn thereby. So Allah is not just cursing their money, he's not just cursing them but also their monies. And you see this little price, like what would they have earned in this world? It would just be some money, and their reputation and their respect would be higher, that they are good people in the society. But what happens in the hereafter? They, that the life that will never end, they just sold their life away, they sold their deen that Allah gave them. Does anyone want to add to this?
You can go on, Rida.
All right. Next ayah, ayah 80. And they, Jews, say, the fire shall not touch us but for a few number days. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to them, have you taken a covenant from Allah so that you will not break his covenant, or is it that you say Allah what you know of? Then what the Jews say is that the fire shall not touch us but for a few number days. So this is also with the Muslims these days, but Allah is talking about Jews here, that they're saying that the fire will not touch us but just for a number of days, that we will be in the hellfire just for like a while, and then ultimately we have to go to Jannah, we have to go to heaven. So it's okay, like even if we do something bad, we'll like pay the price, and ultimately we're going to Jannah, so it's okay. So Allah Ta'ala is saying to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to reply them that, have you taken a covenant, like is there a permission from Allah like this, or will Allah like break the law for you, or is it that Allah, or you're saying this that Allah doesn't know of, did you make this law on your own? Even us Muslims, we think that we're going to, if we do a mistake or we commit some crime or something, we believe that since we're the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ultimately we will go to Jannah, so we just delay our sins. But we should think that this one day that Allah talks about is equal to 70 years. And there's also this incident I was reading in Noman Ali Khan's book. I was listening to Noman Ali Khan, and he said that, you know how hellfire will be. So when we open a door, when we close the door and there's the AC on, and when we close it there's this a small passageway of cool air coming. When there will be hell, when we'll be standing on the outside the doors of hell, we will be, when we'll be standing there, even that small, that air space, it's going to hit us so hard that we will scream our lungs out. We're not even inside the Jahannam, but we will feel the heat. So we need, and you see how hot fire is in this world. We cannot imagine how hot Jahannam's fire will be. So we need to always keep this in mind whenever we do something wrong, or we are about to do something wrong. We should not think that, oh, in the end ultimately we will go to Jannah, so it's okay. We should think that how we cannot let our finger burn for 1 minute under the fire. How will we live 70 years for one crime? So may Allah save us from this fire of hell, and may we all be safe and enter Jannah. Does anyone want to add to this?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Next ayah, ayah 81. Yes, whosoever earns evil and his sin has surrounded him, they are the dwellers of the fire. They will dwell therein forever. So Allah Ta'ala is saying here that whoever earns evil, whoever does something wrong, evil, and his sin has surrounded him, they are the dwellers of fire. They will, so it's not like we will go, we just have to see that whenever we do something evil or we commit a sin, there we will, may Allah make it easy for us, but this is mentioned in the Quran that there will be. So what is the dweller of the fire? This means that we are adding fuel to the fire. Will be like the fuel of the fire, and we don't want that to happen, especially in Jahannam. And we don't want this to happen. So Allah Ta'ala is saying whoever, not he's not talking about Muslims, he's not talking about the Jews, he's talking in general. Whoever does evil and his sin is surrounded, he has to go in the fire. He has to be there and therein forever. He has to stay there forever. So may Allah all save us from this fire where we never want to burn. Next, does anyone want to add to this?
No, you can go on.
All right, the last ayah that I have for my portion, ayah 82. And those who believe in the oneness of Allah and do righteous good deeds, they are the dwellers of paradise. They will dwell therein forever. Now, as soon as Allah is talking about, he's giving a bad news to the disbelievers, he's right away giving good news to the mu'min and the people who have iman in him. He's saying that those who are righteous and they do good deeds, they're the dwellers of paradise and they will dwell therein forever. Paradise, we know, may Allah all make us a part of his the heavens and paradise. He says whoever does righteous deeds, whoever is righteous, whoever does good deeds, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, they will be in paradise and they will be there forever. Don't we all want to be in paradise forever? So may Allah may Allah accept our ibadah in every small form, and this should be like our at the back of the mind, that every small task that we're doing this for Allah, we need to do this for Allah, we want to go in paradise ultimately. So we should keep this at the back of the mind in every small deed we do, even when drinking water. Even if you're in a hurry, if you sit down, drink your water in 3 gulps, just for the sake of Allah, this will also be counted as ibadah. So may Allah may Allah all make us all gather in paradise, and may we be there forever. Ameen. This is all from my side. Does anyone want to add to this?
If anyone wants to add something, they can do now, or if they want to ask something, ask now. And then I'll share the dua.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
All right.
You can read the dua.
ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على مرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.